coast. So this is the summary of our profile, and you can see the mission is well planned, and we are all waiting for this mission to successfully happen in around 11 minutes, 18 seconds from now, when the liftoff will take place. We will continue our mission speech like this, and Madhuri, why don't you take us further in terms of what is the weather climate and what are the further flight profiles?
Yes, sir. It's a bright sunny morning here in Sriharikota with the benign winds. The ground wind speed is likely between 7 to 8 meters per second. However, the vehicle is capable to thrive in much higher winds of up to 25 meters per second. The nominal liftoff of VIKRAM-S from Sriharikota is at 11 hours 30 minutes on 18th of November 2022. The range and tracking operations for VIKRAM-S are being undertaken by SDSC SHAR range operations at ISRO. Telemetry data will be captured by ISRO Telemetry Tracking and Command Network Station of ISRO and relayed to the control center.
The seamless joint efforts of various ISRO centers, including the SDSC SHAR, ISTRAC, VSSC, Skyroot team, and InSpace, have enabled the Skyroot VIKRAM-S rocket to be launch ready in a short period of time. InSpace Technical Mission Readiness Review Committee members from ISRO centers, InSpace ex officio experts from ISRO rigorously reviewed launch vehicle and integration preparation and gave guidance to enable final launch clearance. The maiden rocket launch for Skyroot Aerospace is perhaps the most important milestone for the Indian private space sector since the space reforms announced by Government of India. Though one small step, it is a giant leap to demonstrate the ability of the Indian space private sector. This will pave the way for many such private sector launches. The path-breaking launch of the first indigenous sounding rocket Rohini 75 that took place in November 20, 1967 laid the foundation of the Indian space program and changed the trajectory of the Indian space sector. Likewise, mission PRARAMBH, which is the first Indian private sector launch, marks the beginning of a new dawn and which will propel the Indian space sector into next orbit.
So we are about 8.5 minutes away from the launch. Why don't you in the meantime tell the viewers what is the objective of today's mission and whether VIKRAM-S is carrying with it any payload?
Thank you, Madhuri. View from the MCC. We continue to monitor the launch very closely, and as you have asked, what is the objective of today's mission and what is flying abroad on board today? So to tell you briefly, to tell our viewers briefly, PRARAMBH mission is a technology demonstrator flight which will help test space-grade hardware and systems and validate technologies that will be used in the subsequent launches coming up next year for Skyroot. The company is working on 3 orbital class rockets in the Vikram series, again named after the founder of space program, Dr. Sarabhai. VIKRAM-S carries with its 3 customer payloads, which are non-deployable PCB-based payloads equipped with sensors and instrumentation to validate the flight worthiness and the payload integration process. Now we have this a very interesting thing which is flying with the vehicle is something called Hello Space cards. What we have done is, it is something special, and we have made cards called Hello Space cards, and they are flying on board carrying wishes, good wishes of 300 people who have contributed to this mission from Skyroot, ISRO, and InSpace. So we have put these cards on the vehicle, and this vehicle is going to carry these cards in around 6 minutes and 43 seconds from now. You can see the launch pad has been cleared of men, and yes, Please stand by for an interview by Chairman in Space, Dr. Pawan Goenka. We will shortly show you an interview with Dr. Pawan Goenka, Chairman in Space.
Health is observed to be nominal. Proceeding
Today is a
switch over
historic
to interval
milestone day in India's private sector's journey into the space sector. This has been possible because of the space reforms announced by the Government of India in June 2020. And the Skyroot Aerospace team, in a very short period of 2 years, have come to this point where they could launch the suborbital vehicle, VKS. The ISRO team, the in-space team, have played a big role in enabling the launch today. And I'm looking forward to a successful launch and a start of a new era in India's space sector.
Back to the live feed, where the rocket view is available to you. The Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Jitendra Singh, flanked by Chairman ISRO and Department of Space Secretary Shri S. Somanath, and also by Shri Pawan Goenka, Chairman of InSpace. These dignitaries have graced this occasion, and it shows the importance. It shows the importance of the launch and the importance which the Government of India is according to this launch. 4 minutes, 52 seconds to the launch, and we are honored and we are inspired to see the top leadership of this country in the space sector.
Sharwan to Blockhouse, the data reception is nominal. Signal strength observed is also good.
In the space sector,
Roger.
supporting this launch.
Blockhouse
And
1
as
to
we all
all
know,
stations.
this today
VIKRAM-S
definitely
is
is a
powered on
historic
and
day,
running on its
where
own
after
battery.
opening the space sector, with the government support, with the support of agencies like InSpace, the facilitator, and with the support of ISRO, with the facilities which ISRO has created over the years, we are all set to create another history today, where India takes a giant leap towards private sector participation in the space industry.
Minus 4 minutes.
3 minutes, 58 seconds to the launch, and all clear. Weather you can see is very fine here. As my colleague has already told, उन्होंने बताया है कि मौसम बहुत ही बढ़िया, मौसम बहुत ही अनुकूल, हवाएं बहुत ही धीमी गति से 7 या 8 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटा की रफ्तार, 7 या 8 मीटर प्रति सेकंड की रफ्तार से हवाएं बह रही हैं, और हमारे रॉकेट जो है ये डिजाइन किया हुआ है करीब करीब 25 मीटर्स पर सेकंड वेग तक इस रॉकेट को हम लॉन्च कर सकते हैं. इस बढ़िया मौसम के हम इंतजार कर रहे थे, और हमें आज ये अवसर मिला है, और हम इस लॉन्च के काफी करीब हैं. अब सिर्फ 3 सेकंड बच गए हैं.
As we wait for the history in the making, the launch of a first privately owned company from the Indian soil.
Minus 3
These
minutes.
are the views from the Mission Control Center VVIP Gallery, with the top brass of ISRO, along with Chairman in Space and the Honorable Minister, eagerly waiting for the launch. We are about 2 minutes 40 seconds from the launch.
The efforts of more than 4 years are coming towards the first fruition, which will
Blockhouse
give
1 to
a
Blockhouse 2.
stepping
Please confirm
stone
event number 60 and
to all
61.
of us. And on your view, the final views of the rocket as it prepares to take off, all the preparations are in place, all parameters behaving normally, and the launch being intently monitored. We will, Madhuri, why don't you tell us about a very important procedure called wind weighing for this stable rockets?
Yes, sir. As we wait for the launch, let me just throw some
Minus
light
4
on it.
minutes.
Today morning's
number
winds
76
were
completed.
measured using the wind profiler at SDSC. This data was then fed to the mission simulation software, and the corrections required in the launch elevation angle and the launch azimuth angle to compensate for the performance deviations of VIKRAM-S due to this wind are calculated. As you know, these adjustments are possible with the launcher, The azimuth and the launch elevation angle have been set accordingly. The launch azimuth is at 80 degrees and 100 degrees, the LEA and launch azimuth, as I said. And this is what is required for this mission. This is a standard procedure for all the suborbital rocket launches from SDSC.
उड़ान से बस 1 मिनट 10 सेकंड दूर हम लोग, और जैसे मेरी सहयोगी माधुरी जी ने बताया आपको कि हम लोगों ने आज सुबह ये
-1 minute.
हवा की रफ्तार गति नापी है,
-45
और इस मापन को हमने अपने मिशन सिमुलेशन प्रोग्राम में डाला है,
50 seconds.
और कौन सी एंगल से किस धरती से कितना
-40
एंगल बनाते
seconds.
हुए ये रॉकेट उड़े, ताकि हम जो चाहते हैं, जो कक्षा हम चाहते हैं, जो
-40
ऊंचाई हम
seconds.
चाहते हैं, वो हमें मिले। ये माधुरी जी ने बताया आपको। रॉकेट का व्यू
-30 seconds.
लॉन्च से सिर्फ 30 सेकंड दूर। हम अब ज्यादा बोलने वाले नहीं है, कुछ देर
-30
तक
seconds.
हम
Event
आपके
number
साथ मिल
80
करके
completed.
इस रॉकेट की व्यूज को एंजॉय
-25
करेंगे।
seconds.
Last few minutes, last few seconds, 20 seconds, we
-20
momentarily go
seconds.
quiet and we feel the launch along with you.
-15.
We enjoy the launch along with you. Just 10 seconds to launch.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Event number 96 completed.
And we have a successful
Event number 98
liftoff of
completed.
VIKRAM-S rocket. I think I should be able to show you the jubilant environment here at the
P3
Mission
track.
Control Center, where the entire team is celebrating the launch and the spin stabilized rocket. The views from the launcher camera. In a few seconds, the vehicle will undergo the condition of maximum aerodynamic pressure, followed by the motor burnout, and we will get you those confirmations shortly. The vehicle will experience Qmax around 15 seconds, and at the same time maximum aerodynamic loads will occur. Just to remind the viewers, this is an aerodynamically stabilized vehicle. At 20 seconds flight time, we have reached Mach 5,
Plus 1
which
minute.
means it is flying at 5 times the velocity of sound. And with this, the vehicle has achieved hypersonic velocities. It looks like we do have successful burnout, and the flight trajectory is tracking as per the prediction.
Rocket is now at the altitude of 66 kilometers, 67 now. We have completed 80 seconds of flight time. We are around 34 seconds away from the launch pad, and the totally intended trajectory is being followed. The present altitude is 75 kilometers. As we slowly go towards our target of crossing 80 kilometers and way beyond that, nominally we expect to be around 100 kilometers when the peak altitude occurs. See the screen.
Views from the Mission Control Center.
86 kilometers in altitude. We are at 85 kilometers now, and slowly and steadily we are reaching our peak altitude. If you can see on the screens, the altitude profile is being shown. Around 133 seconds have passed. We are very close to our peak altitude. We are now at around 88 kilometers peak altitude, and everything has gone as per we have planned. We are very close to the peak altitude now. The peak altitude performance has been reached at around 155 seconds, and now slowly the rocket will start its descent. Actually, it has just started from 88 kilometers. Now it has come to around 87.1 kilometer. The peak altitude being met, this mission today has given a good, successful, satisfactory performance
Plus 3 minutes.
as intended by us.
जी हाँ, एक सफल उड़ान, प्रथम उड़ान विक्रम-S के लिए। प्रारंभ बड़ा ही रोचक रहा। यह रॉकेट अपने गंतव्य तक भी पहुंचा और अब अपनी ऑल्टीट्यूड को घटाने की कोशिश में मात्र 70 किलोमीटर के ऑल्टीट्यूड पर अब ये रॉकेट स्थित है।
This rocket achieved the apogee of 89.5 kilometers. That is, the peak altitude achieved by this rocket was 89.5. Our target was to cross 80 kilometers. As you all know, 80 kilometers is commonly defined as the start of space. So this rocket successfully went into space as we intended. And now, after completing its mission of achieving the peak orbit,
4 minutes.
creating the conditions for the payloads to function, and completing its job successfully, it is on its way back to a safe splashdown in the Bay of Bengal as we have intended. The range right now is 115 kilometers away from Shar, and we expect it to impact somewhere around 130 kilometers away from Shar. The whole thing has gone as per planned. ये बहुत ही खुशी की बात है कि स्काई रूट की तरफ से उनके पहले अभियान में ही जो उन्होंने प्लान किया था, जो हमने प्लान किया था, वो हम सक्सेसफुल रहे और अब ये रॉकेट अपने स्प्लैश डाउन के बहुत ही नजदीक है और हम किसी भी क्षण अब स्प्लैश डाउन के करेंगे और ये मिशन सक्सेसफुली अकम्प्लिश हो जाएगा। हम
5 minutes.
यहाँ पर बधाई देना चाहेंगे इन स्पेस को जिन्होंने इस पूरे मिशन को रेगुलेट किया, गाइड किया। हम बधाई देना चाहेंगे सतीश धवन स्पेस सेंटर श्रीहरिकोटा को जिन्होंने ये हमें फैसिलिटेट किया, इसरो को, इसरो चेयरमैन को। वी थैंक ऑल दिस पीपल. वी आर हम्बल्ड बाय द सपोर्ट विच वी गॉट. Happy views from the mission control, and now we take leave from you. Goodbye from our side, handing over to Shri Pawan Goenka, Chairman in Space, for his speech.
Thank you, viewers. Goodbye.
Thank you, viewers, for joining us. We sign off.
Safety officer, confirm clear launch.
Please stand by. We are going for inspection. We'll assess and clear. Otherwise, normal.
Good morning. I'm happy to announce the successful completion of Mission PRARAMBH, the beginning of Skyroot Aerospace. The rocket VKS took off at LEA of 80 degrees and azimuth of 100 degrees, achieved an altitude of 89.5 kilometers and a range of 121.2 kilometers, exactly what was planned by Skyroot Aerospace. All systems, as I can make out, worked as planned, and Skyroot Aerospace has demonstrated capability of various subsystems that will go into the orbital launch vehicle. I congratulate Skyroot Aerospace, their team members, and thank various centers of ISRO, specifically SDSC, STRAC, and VSSC, team members of InSpace, led by Director PMA, Dr. Jain, and Director Technical, Mr. Rajiv Jyoti, and many thanks to multiple reviews conducted by experts from ISRO, InSpace, and from outside for the mission readiness and launch clearance, led by Dr. B. Suresh. This is a new beginning for Indian private sector entry into space, and it's a historic moment for all of us. We have the pleasure of having Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Jitendra Singh, here with us to give us encouragement, and I request him to give his thoughts on what today's mission means for our country. Dr. Singh.
Congratulations, India. It is indeed a new beginning, a new dawn, and shall I say, very appropriately as our team members have put it, a new PRARAMBH in the journey of India's space program. And very many thanks to Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, who has made this effort possible by opening up the space sector to public-private participation. It's also a major step forward to India developing its own space ecosystem and emerging as a frontline nation in the community of world nations. And of course, a turning point in India's startup movement. Well done, Team Skyroot. The co-founders can join me here. Pawan, IIT Kharagpur alumni, Bharat, IIT Madras alumni, who have worked day and night to make this possible. And of course, kudos ISRO. You have this day on the 18th of November 2022 added yet one more feather into your much decorated hat. And thanks ISRO for putting India as a frontline nation in the years to come, and a nation to which others would look forward to, vital cues in the journey of space sector. Thanks once again. Congratulations. Congratulations everybody. Well done.
And I request Pawan Chandana, Mission Director for PRARAMBH Mission and also co-founder of Skyroot, to talk about what it took to reach up to this point. And Bharat is the co-founder of Skyroot. He is also here.
Honorable Union Minister of State, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, Secretary Department of Space, Dr. Somnath Ji, Chairman in Space, Dr. Pawan Goenka Ji, Director Shar, Director VSSC, respected guests, our colleagues, and everyone watching this online. We are very excited to announce that we scripted history today by successfully launching India's first privately developed rocket, VIKRAM-S. The vehicle reached space to an altitude of 89.5 kilometers and completed the required mission objectives. This PRARAMBH mission, as the name signifies, is the beginning of a new era in the Indian space ecosystem. Team Skyroot dedicates this successful mission to Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who boldly started the Indian space program in the 1960s, and Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, who unlocked the space sector to the private players. And most importantly, we thank InSpace and ISRO, all their teams and their dynamic leadership who enabled this mission in this most efficient way. With the able help of ISRO, this challenging mission was executed by a startup Skyroot and our very new space regulator InSpace within just 2 years from the government announcing space reforms. Ladies and gentlemen, this PRARAMBH mission symbolizes not only India's first private rocket launch, it also symbolizes the potential of New India. We thank each and every team member of Skyroot for making this historic moment a reality, and their family members for supporting them throughout this challenging journey. And importantly, we thank all our shareholders who have been our backbone in this endeavor. This is a small step by a startup, and a giant leap for the Indian space industry. It's just the prarambh of a great future. Thank you.
May I now request Rajiv Jyoti, Technical Director in Space, to talk about the role played by ISRO and in space in facilitating this launch.
Very good morning to all of you. At the outset, let me also congratulate the Skyroot team for scripting and making a new beginning in the Indian space sector with the maiden launch of this rocket PRARAMBH. Respected Honorable Minister of State Dr. Jitendra Singh ji and our Honorable Secretary Department of Space and our Chairman in Space, our Member Finance, Team Skyroot, especially Pawan and Bharat, team led ISRO, which is led by Director VSSC, Director Shar and Director ISRAC. Today's success is the culmination of efforts which is being made by various ISRO centers who proactively contributed in the launch mission of this rocket, designed and built by a private company, Skyroot. The whole launch support was given they were provided in various forms, like today's Shar has given is SDSC, SRC, the Sounding Rocket Complex launch pad for its operation for the private launch rocket. Sounding rocket integration and